Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Authentic Podcast with Justin Doulard. And thank you for tuning in to another episode. It's time!
Well, Keenan, long time no see. Welcome back.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you.
You too, bro. Happy New Year. And thank you for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I did want to lead off and say this too. I don't know if you hear this often, but you kind of like portray someone who is always happy. Like you never seem like you're in a bad. Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I don't know. I feel like sometimes my toxic trait is positivity, if that makes any sense.
Like too much positivity?
Yeah, because even in situations where it's like nobody could be positive here, I like find like that little bit of positivity. I don't know. It's just the way I've always been.
Yeah, I wanted to say that to you. Even if you are in a bad mood or if you're not super happy, you don't paint that picture. Yeah. You always look like chipper and like little affects you. So
yeah, I mean, everybody gets upset from time to time. Including myself, but it's pretty rare, I'll say. It takes a lot to really get to me, really get me in a bad mood. So,
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I don't know if I smile as much as you, but I'm the same way. So
yeah.
Well, are you ready to get back to the city?
Yeah, man, I miss it. I mean, it's good to be home. You know, it's good to see family, friends. Good to be home for the holidays, but like, there's nothing like New York. I love it.
So you've been there, what, 18 months, 20 months? When 2 years would be what, next fall?
Yeah, so I don't know. What is it, like 16 months, something like that? Yeah.
And that was your dream city?
It is my dream city, yeah.
And we talked about it when we were out in New York, but might be a lifer? Maybe
I'd
not?
like to be, yeah. If I can continue to afford it, because it is a very expensive place to live. But yeah, if I can stay out there, hopefully continue to grow in my job, yeah, I'd love to stay out there forever.
That was one of my questions as like people progress in their career and get older and maybe start a family and whatnot. Is it realistic to buy property? Like, do you have to rent? Like, do most people rent for life?
No. Well, people buy apartments up there. Like in New York City, people do buy apartments. It's very expensive because it's like, New York.
That's what you would do ultimately?
I think I would move upstate a little bit. Like Westchester County is just north of the city. And so people have probably heard of like White Plains or Yonkers, Mount Vernon, like those.
I think that's where you told me you stayed, right?
Yeah. I stayed in Mount Vernon for a little while when I first got up there. And so like those are really like suburban areas, but by train, they're only, 20 minutes outside of the city, 30 minutes outside of the city. So like, I feel like if I'm able to stay up there, that's where I'd like to be.
And is that houses or is that?
Yeah. It honestly looks like where we are right now. Like it looks like Jinx, Oklahoma,
We have some friends that Lindsay went to school with from New York, but they're from not the city. And they said a lot of where they're from looks like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They don't hardly go into the city, but you would go into the city daily for
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably never be like a fully remote guy.
Yeah.
You always got to be on set.
Really, I prefer it that way too. Like even if I'm living outside the city, I think I love the city so much that I'd still just like to be there whenever I can,
Well, in a nutshell, or you can stretch it out as well. Tell us what you do and who you work for.
Yeah. So I work for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Kind of just happened on a whim, honestly. It's not a job I ever thought I would have, a company I'd ever, thought I'd work for, but I'm loving it. Currently, I'm a production assistant for our field team. So we're the team that produces every we call them roll-in bits, like everything that's not taped in the studio, like for the actual show. We roll different sketches and bits onto the show. So they're like pre-recorded.
And you were working in Dallas, living in Dallas, always wanted to be in the city. Mm-hmm. And I assume you were probably on your computer at night just looking at jobs and shot some shots.
Yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to work in the film and TV industry. And I initially, when I went to college, I studied it, for a quick second before switching to a different degree. But I always wanted to be in that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I always wanted to be in that industry. And then I was living in Dallas, working in Dallas, but movies are my thing. So Dallas has like a really big independent like film community. And so I was like, well, I love movies so much. My hobby is to always be at the movies. So let me try to work in the movies. And so Dallas, they have like a film commission, and they have a website where they just post every independent job that's coming to the city, over the next X amount of months or whatever it is. And one day I applied to work as a production assistant on a little short film down there. And that's really how I got my start. And then from there, just kind of jumped from project to project in Dallas. While also still, of course, working my full-time job.
Was that pretty hard to do while working full-time? Is it a lot of like nights and weekends, or did you have to take time off work?
Yeah,
or?
no, it wasn't too difficult because I would take PTO, or it would be on weekends. So the crazy part is a lot of them were unpaid. So I was just doing it for the experience, doing it for the fun of it.
The resume booster?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So then you were applying for jobs in the city. I guess was the one you applied for, the Stephen Colbert show, was that surely not the only one you applied for, right?
No, I probably applied for.
Were you just blasting
100 jobs?
Were you really?
Yeah, just probably from 2000. Let's see, I moved to Dallas in 2017. So from 2017 to 2021. Well, no, 22 really. So like 5 years. I was just applying every month or so. I'd apply for 4 or 5 jobs, some in LA, some in New York, some in Chicago, just like
the hubs.
Yeah, Atlanta, just like looking for, a big time opportunity. And the one that I got was The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have any other interviews before that, or this was the one you got and it was
This was the only major film or TV company to call me back. Like, I applied for so many jobs, and this is the first and only one that ever got back to me.
And didn't you say that you told me some ridiculous number that like there was like 1,500 applicants in like 3 positions?
Yeah.
Am I close?
Yeah, that's what they told me. It was like between like 1,000 and 1,500 applicants.
And you never really knew exactly how you got there?
Yeah, I mean,
being sweet.
I guess so. I really don't know what it was. Yeah, I guess it was just something about me. Yeah,
I wouldn't ask either.
No,
like why'd you hire me? Like, I don't want to know. I'm here. So.
Exactly. I'm here. That's all that matters.
So
yeah.
Tell us what your day-to-day looks like.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of a loaded question because it changes every day.
And you like that?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. If we have like a shoot day, generally we'll have like a super early call time. So like, for instance, if our call time is, which for those who don't know, call time means the time that you have to show up for work. So if your call time is 7 a.m., me as the production assistant, I usually have to show up about 6 a.m. So an hour ahead of time.
Just so you're waking up at what, 4:30?
Yeah. Yeah. If it's 6, I'm usually up by 4:30. Yeah. Taking the train from Brooklyn into Manhattan to the show. But I'll get there early. I'll usually make sure that we have several copies of our call sheets, which are like the names of everyone who's coming in for the day, several copies of the script, several copies of the schedule and what we're going to be shooting that day, and, so on and so forth. Make sure all that gets set up. Since it is a television show, we do have interns. And so the interns kind of assist me with, just kind of getting everything set up for the day.
Go get your coffee.
Exactly.
Did it really?
Not every time, but it has happened. Not just mine though. Sometimes everybody's coffee.
Okay, so they shoot days. Mm-hmm. You're up there at 6.
Mm-hmm. So depending on the type of shoot, some shoots might only be 2 hours, and then some could be 17 hours.
Am I just 17 hours?
Yeah, it just depends on the day. Yeah,
Holy
depends
shit.
on the day and what we're shooting. So,
and am I wrong or correct in that this is the marketing for the show?
No, it's not the marketing for the show. It's essentially we're shooting a short film for the show. I can actually show you some examples of what we've done.
Yeah, pull them.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Is it like a recap of the show or like a preview?
No, it's a separate bit. Like, yeah,
Okay.
It's a separate bit. So it's like sometimes like here, I'll show you. Hang on. Like we rolled a bit. Like for those of you who don't know, the film and TV industry had been on strike from May through September.
Yep.
And so there was like no new television shows. And so we did a bit where it was a spoof on reality TV because that's all that's been on is reality TV. So it's kind of like,
Now, I admittedly don't watch a ton of late night TV or TV in general, but during that break, so all the people, just no work, no shows. It was just off.
Yep. The entire industry was shut down.
Coast to coast.
Yeah. Yep.
And and we can dive into that too, but you think that strike was beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Because it was for workers' wages.
Yeah, initially
that's what strikes are.
Yeah,
for, right?
yeah. Initially, it was the writers. The writers went on strike first. For wages, for protection against artificial intelligence, for making sure that their residuals, that they're compensated correctly when it comes to residuals. Because
I did see like some of the big guys with like Netflix showing their checks and stuff. From shows
exactly.
From 20 years ago.
Well, yeah. Well, the way that TV used to be, it was all network, or even if it was cable, it was all just coming on TV.
Like one and done.
Yeah, like one and done. Well, not one and done, but even if there was like a rerun, writers would get compensation for those residuals. But with the way streaming is now, the compensation for the residuals is different because you might have someone who watches, the same episode of, let's say, The Office, for instance.
My parents.
Okay, see, they might watch that same episode on Netflix or something over and over.
Weekly.
But that writer is not getting the same compensation for that because it's not on like a schedule.
Gotcha.
Like it would be in syndication.
But,
you know what I mean?
It's a dumb question, but Netflix is still making crazy money off The Office.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any like number examples or like money they make versus what writers are making, like the percentages or anything like that?
Unfortunately, I don't, but I know there's stuff online that we could find for sure. Hang on, sorry, I'm just looking for the...
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, every time I walk into my parents' house, it's like...
Yeah, exactly. Like,
have you seen this one? I was like,
yeah.
I have not.
Yeah, well, and like before streaming, that same episode might only come on, once a month or twice a month or
now
something.
People can watch it
in syndication or whatever.
Week.
Now people can watch the same episode just over and over and over again as many times as they want,
Yeah, like Seinfeld.
So,
people are still watching Seinfeld. My parents watch Seinfeld.
Yeah, Seinfeld, great show. I used to watch it on syndication as a kid, like every night before I went to bed. And I knew the schedule, like, okay, I see this episode, so the next time this one airs on this network, it's probably going to be like 3 months from now.
Yeah.
But
you got to catch it when it's on.
Exactly. But with streaming, I can watch that same episode over and over and over again. But these writers who wrote the episode aren't getting the same type of compensation for it.
Was it writers and actors or just writers?
Initially, it was just writers, and then the actors went on strike a couple months later. Yeah. And it was for similar things, for streaming residuals and then like artificial intelligence.
The one clip I saw that stuck out to me was the guy from Breaking Bad, Jesse.
Oh, yeah.
The little guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was like in LA, like on like, quote unquote, on the picket line with these guys. Like, I don't get hardly anything from Breaking Bad, and people are still.
Yeah.
I think he was on a late night show, and he's like, anytime I'm in public, they're like, talk to me in this voice. Or,
Yeah. And exactly. Like, it's crazy. So, they finally settled it though, which is great. They figured out a way to
restructure and get paid.
Yep. Exactly. So.
Did you get the clip?
Yes, I've got it. Here, I'll show it to you. So Stephen is gonna introduce the clip, and then you'll see it.
We have a surfeit of riches for the people tonight. Coming out just a little while to do a little cooking, a little drinking, a little cooking as he loves to do. Chef Jose Andres will be out here in just a moment.
Oh, I can.
But before that happens, we got a guy coming out here. He is an actor. Yeah. He's a writer. He's a producer. He's a director. He's a musician. His name is Bradley Cooper. He's
Was that the actor? Bradley Cooper?
Well, he's not in the bit, but
that's who he's talking about?
Yeah, he was a guest that day.
He's a big Eagles fan?
Oh, yeah, he's a Philly guy. He's born and raised.
Yeah, die hard.
And I said to her, what the hell just happened to us in there? Wow. Like, it's such an emotional journey. Really? It's absolutely beautiful. It's like a tone poem. It's a tightly told love story. It's extraordinary. I just cannot recommend it enough. It's one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. Please go see Maestro.
Wow.
Now, folks, I love TV. It's one of my favorite things to watch on my phone. That's why I'm so happy that both the Writers Guild and the Screen Actors Guild have been able to end their strikes and TV shows can resume production. Now, unfortunately, exactly, I agree wholeheartedly. Now, unfortunately, it will still be a while before new scripted shows can make it to air. So in the meantime, all the networks have gone big with unscripted reality shows. There are so many reality shows on right now. America's Got Talent, Lego Masters, Survivor, Big Brother, Hell's Kitchen, Kitchen Nightmares, The Masked Singer, The Voice, and also something called I Can See Your Voice. That's right. They even gave a show to your college roommate who just tried shrooms for the first time. Well, this massive amount of reality TV got me thinking, hey, I live in reality and I make TV. So I'm happy to announce that for the first time ever, The Late Show is releasing its very own lineup of reality TV shows. Take a look.
This fall, reality gets real with The Late Show's reality lineup. From the makers of Love Island comes the hottest show yet. 12 singles, 1 villa, and 1 big question.
How's your weekend, man?
Pretty good.
You know what the best part of this is?
What's that?
This is like Lindsay's favorite type of TV right now.
And that's exactly why we spoofed it, you know, because it's everybody's favorite type right now.
Oh, man. Lindsay loves all any of the corny dating on the beach, any of the Selling Sunset.
Yeah, that's why we spoofed it. It's crazy.
All of that garbage.
So popular.
So what's your role in this right here?
I was a production assistant on that. I was the team production assistant.
What does that mean?
So there's...
Break that into layman's terms for someone who's never even seen a TV camera.
Yeah. So basically, in most productions, like most films and TV, but in most productions, it's kind of the entry-level job on the team. So like you're kind of... On my team, for instance, you have your producer... Well, you have your supervising producer, you have your associate producer, production coordinator, then production assistant. So like there's just tiers. It's just tiers of your position. But essentially you just kind of answer to everybody on the team as the assistant. Okay. And then like me being the assistant, the only people that answered to me were the interns. So yeah.
You're the intern boss?
Yeah, exactly.
So if you could if you could apply for any job right now on the show, like, what would be your dream job on this show?
Dream job,
or like, what are you trying to work up to on this?
I'd like to be like a line producer or like supervising producer, probably.
So you always want to be behind the camera.
Yeah. I want to produce. I don't want to direct. I would love to write as well, and I have written some things, just nothing that's been produced yet. But producing is the dream goal.
And you would like to write as well?
Yeah.
When you say you've put stuff in to write, you guys have a team of writers, and then they take a review at it and they pick certain ones?
No. Not for the show. Just personally for me. Yeah.
Just kind of like tucked away in your notes on your phone?
No. Like I've written like a couple of feature film scripts and then a couple of short films.
For the ones in Dallas or in New York?
No. Just for me. Like I just wrote them in my free time. Gotcha. Yeah. Nothing associated with any of the productions I've worked on.
Just so like one day you would maybe like to put that to life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like a singer who's got it tucked away.
Yeah. If I can get some money or if I can just sell a script, like I don't have to be the one to make it. If I can just sell it, I'd be happy.
How do you even go about selling a script?
You have to have an agent, a literary agent. So it's the same process as like if you're an actor.
Like you want to do is just money.
Of course.
You got to spend it to make it.
Exactly.
So you realistically probably wouldn't get an agent until you were like, I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to like commit a lot of time and effort into this.
Not necessarily. You just kind of have to rub some elbows and meet people. That's really what it is.
You think you got some good stuff in there?
I've got some good stuff.
Can you tell us?
I don't want to tell it. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give anything away.
I don't think anyone's going to steal it, but you can't give us a little basis of anything? Is it comedy?
More like dramedy.
dramedy.
More like you were just earlier. We were talking about Bradley Cooper being an Eagles fan. So have you seen Silver Linings Playbook?
I have not.
Oh well, I was gonna get. That's the example of like the tone that the films that I've written are kind of going for.
Okay.
Yeah, very similar to that.
I don't even know how do you begin writing a movie?
You have to. Well, I don't know what other people's process is, but you have to. I feel like you have to have seen a bunch of movies. Number one,
You just got to be a movie buff.
yeah, and you have to have read a bunch of scripts, which I've done. So
I've always been intrigued by the movie business on how should I word this? Like movies that were made that I wonder if they thought that it was not going to be a really big hit. They were kind of shooting for the stars. Like, I don't know. In my mind, I see Dumb and Dumber as a movie that I don't know what it was like when they made it, but that they were like, this could be really stupid, or it turned out now it's like a timeless classic.
Yeah.
Or like, Napoleon Dynamite. Didn't they make that movie for like ridiculous,
like super cheap?
And then it went crazy.
Yeah.
Stupid movie. But
and that does happen. Napoleon Dynamite, Clerks, like you do have examples of people who wrote a movie and like they were just like, I'm gonna make my movie, and they did, and they did it for cheap, and they did it with unknown actors and that sort of thing, which I could go about attempting to do that. I just don't feel like that's my path, honestly. Like directing, I don't feel like that's my path. So
why not?
So I've done it once. I directed a short film that I wrote. And it was just not a good experience. Like it was just very uncomfortable. I just didn't really, and then it just didn't turn out very good.
Like barking people around, or just
no, it's not that. It's more technical, I guess. Just more of the technical things I just didn't care for. So,
can you kind of tell us a little bit about how the actual show is written for Stephen Colbert? I know that's not necessarily your bread and butter, but how they get what they put on the daily night show.
Yeah. I mean, the news is a big part of it.
Sure.
We have a news research team and we have a news footage team, which the footage team is actually the team that I worked on when I first got there. But you watch a lot of news, read a lot of news, and if something is happening big in the news, usually it's politics.
Of course.
Right.
That's easy bait now.
Yeah. And if we think that we could potentially make fun of it, I guess.
So everything? Everything these last 8 years?
Exactly. Our footage producers and our news research producers, they'll like pitch it to the writers, like pitch certain news clips or news information. And then the writers will go from there. The writers, they all get together every morning and brainstorm on what they'll write.
So track a different way, kind of same topic. How does a guy like Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Fallon get to that level? Like what do you know his history? Like, was he in stand up? Was he in the TV? I don't know much about him.
No,
same with Jimmy Fallon, for example. I don't know a ton about his backstory besides I think Jimmy did stand up, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jimmy was a stand up. They have different backgrounds, and then still ended up in the same place. But Stephen Colbert, he went to Northwestern in Chicago.
Okay.
And then after Northwestern, he started working for Second City.
What's that?
It's like an improv group. It's more than just that. They do scripted things too, but it's like they do shows.
Okay.
In Chicago, there's like a whole there's like a what do you call it? A theater that people will just go see people do comedy shows.
Okay.
And so he worked there. And a lot of former like SNL people went through there. Seth Meyers was there, John Belushi, just like a lot of really Chris Farley came through there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like a big deal in Chicago. And so a lot of people who ended up on SNL came out of there. But anyway, but that's where Stephen was working for a very long time, and he was an actor. So it's what he went to school for. And then he ended up coming to New York to work on the Dana Carvey show.
Is that another late night show?
It was actually in prime time, but you know Dana Carvey, the actor, comedian? You don't know? Okay. He was on SNL like in the 90s and stuff.
Okay.
And he got his own show. And Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell worked on it together at the same time.
I've always just been intrigued how out of so many people on set and in such a big production, how they decide the face of the show. Because Jimmy Kimmel took over for someone else, correct?
No, Jimmy Kimmel was his own show. He never.
No. Excuse me, Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Fallon. Yeah,
took over for
Jay Leno. Yeah.
I wonder how they decide that. How you kind of get to become that guy.
Well,
Just a multitude of.
Well, prior to that, he was on Late Night,
Okay.
which is the show Seth Meyers is on now.
Okay.
So Jimmy Fallon was already waiting in the wings, I guess you could say.
Before you worked in this field, did you watch a ton of late night TV?
I did.
You
yeah.
did? So
yeah.
you've always
I
been-
grew up in a household with no cable. So so late at night when I was going to bed, I would watch like the Tonight Show.
Channel 3, 6, 8.
Exactly. So I'd watch the Tonight Show with Jay Leno or the Late Show with David Letterman.
We had cable off and on. I know that's weird,
Mhm.
but like I feel like we would have it for 2 years and then the price would go up and we're
Yeah.
like, we're not paying this shit.
Yeah.
So we would have either the basic channels or we did like Tahlequah cable,
Okay.
the 60 channel. I don't think we ever had the dish or direct where it was
Okay.
like 500 channels.
Yeah.
A lot of the basic stuff.
Yeah.
But now I don't have cable. We haven't had, but we do a lot of streaming
Yeah.
like everyone
Same.
does.
Yeah.
But like for your field of work or your shows, I watch a lot of the YouTube clips. That's my jam.
Yeah.
So
And that's what a lot of people do too. Yeah. You're not the only one.
So I rarely will I watch the whole show, but I tune in mainly for the guests that they have on. So like I would go watch Bradley Cooper, or The Rock was on. He was on one the other night. See, I can't remember.
Yeah, he
which
was
one
on Fallon
Yeah,
the other night where they went to the toy store
Yeah,
or whatever. Okay.
I watched those clips.
An example of the types of things that I would shoot would be something like that when he was at the toy store.
Okay.
Like we shoot those types of things that are not in the theater.
Okay.
Even though I don't work for Fallon, but if we did something similar on our show, that's the type of thing that my team does.
And are you seeing a lot of the guests on that are on the show on a day-to-day basis?
Well, so there's a talent team that works with the guests, talent and segment. They work with the guests for the interview portion. But if a guest agrees to film a bit for us, then that's the team that I'm on,
Okay.
where we'll do that. So I've worked with Liam Neeson. We had the cast of Ted Lasso last season.
Liam Neeson's the guy in Taken, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, real nice guy.
Is
he? Mm-hmm.
Is he? Because he kind of has his niche of this superhero action guy in his films. Is that anything like how they are in person, or is that all just?
He didn't seem like that to me. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he was just very chill. Like, yeah. Came in, filmed his bit, and then like said thank you and left. Like, yeah.
I don't watch a ton of movies, but the ones I do watch are old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watch a lot of repeat.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did watch Taken the other night.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It
He's
is.
good in it. Yeah.
And then that one where he was like ice road trucking. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't see that.
He was like
one.
chasing guys, but he went across like Alaska
Yeah.
or Canada, chasing people on like frozen ice.
What is he, a cop or something, or what?
Man, I can't. He was similar stuff. Like one of
Okay.
his people gets taken away. He's got to rescue somebody.
Okay.
It's all the same storyline. I feel
Yeah.
like, but he's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always good, and he was good on our show. He came on and filmed a bit for us for St. Patrick's Day last year.
Okay.
Because obviously, everybody knows he's Irish, and so like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is he from Ireland?
yeah, he's got the accent and all that.
But dude, a lot of those actors that are from European countries, they can mask it really well.
Oh
in
yeah,
film.
it's crazy.
Who's the guy? Is it Sons of Anarchy?
I've never watched Sons of Anarchy. so I
I've watched
wouldn't-
bits of it with
Yeah.
with like Lindsay and my friends. I'm pretty sure he is European and mask. There's just anyways,
Okay.
a lot of people can
Yeah.
mask it to
Christian Bale, like he's
Yeah.
the one that does it. And he has a different accent in every movie.
But I feel like Americans can't really do that well.
No, it's so crazy. Like, yeah, it's weird.
We're such bums.
Well, I think it's because like over in Europe, they go to like conservatory and study Shakespeare and all this other kind of stuff. A lot of the actors that we have here are just like, I'm gonna move to LA and
TikTok.
and yeah, exactly, and just do it, And so a lot of them don't study acting,
Do you have
So-
any other experiences with some of the people on set that you were really fond of? Like you like Liam? Anybody else that really stood out to you?
Have you ever seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie?
No.
Okay. Do you know what it is? Have you heard of it?
No, I'm maybe the worst person to talk to. It sounds like right now.
So last year it won Best Picture at the Oscars. It also won Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Screenplay,
Okay, so I
Best
need to
Director.
watch.
Like it won like everything. Okay. Well,
What's the name of it again?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was directed by these two guys. Both their names are Daniel.
Okay.
I think it's Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert or something like that. But they came in and filmed a bit for us last year. Like they came in and actually directed and acted a little bit in a bit for us. And that's, anything that we film outside of the studio, that's my team. Mm-hmm. So I got to work with them, and they're, similar in age to me. I think they're probably 35, 36, something like that. So they're not like old guys.
Just filthy rich.
They are now, that's for sure. But no, working with them was probably the best experience I've ever had on the show, because it was like a long day. Like it was probably a, 15-hour day maybe. Jesus. But they never lost energy. They just they knew what they wanted to do, and they were great directors. They were never like, a lot of times in the film industry, if something's not done the way the director wants, or the way that whoever, like the producer or whomever is in charge wants it, they can get angry, get a
little pissy.
Yeah. Those guys were never like that. They were just like super chill, super laid back, and they were like, yeah, let's try it this way instead. Yeah, let's, and so that's the best experience I've ever had, was working with them.
That's cool.
You should look them up. You should see the movie too.
Is it on Netflix or?
It's got to be on something. I don't know.
We can find it.
Yeah, I think it's on Paramount Plus.
What's the storyline? What's the basis?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Really?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I'll
You have to watch it.
I will.
You have to watch it.
I will.
It is a very different type of film, I'll say. It's not your standard 3-act cookie cutter movie. It'll make you think. It's good though.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I will watch it, and I will get back to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is random, but it made me think of it when you started talking about all these awards that people were winning. What was your what did you think about the Chris Rock Will Smith deal?
Almost 2 years later, we're still talking about this.
I want to, because there's every time something happens, there's always a theory about stage, not staged. Yeah. So, do you have any type of take on that?
Initially, I thought it was staged.
Sure, because it was like that's never happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and then I guess on Twitter, someone had posted the like a clip of the broadcast from like another country where they didn't edit out Will Smith cussing at Chris Rock, because in the American, while watching it live, they had cut it out.
On what do you mean they cut it out?
Like
they bleeped it on TV?
They didn't even bleep it. They literally just silenced it. Like there
How
was
did
no.
They do that?
Well, it's there's like a delay in taping.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a dumb question.
Yeah,
sorry.
And so when it happened, they like silenced it or whatever. But then on Twitter, there was the video of I don't know, the New Zealand broadcast of it or something like that, and you could hear Will Smith yelling and cussing at Chris Rock. That's when I knew it was real. I was like, this reaction, like you can fake a slap. Like if he would have just slapped him and then went back to his seat, and I think most people would have been like, oh, that was staged.
But then he came back and sat down.
But then when he was yelling and cussing at him, that's when it's kind of like, oh, this is real. Like this is crazy. So
yeah, because that seems like something they would never stage, right?
Yeah, I don't
like that's a little too far.
Yeah, like there'd have to be something super like a real, like Chris Rock would have needed to make like a real joke afterwards, or even Will Smith make a joke or something, or they hug or something, something.
A follow up.
Yeah, some sort of follow up.
Not just like an awkward silence.
Yeah.
I think Chris Rock handled it really well. I don't know how would you react if that happened to you on TV?
Honestly, I don't know. Like,
so you think Will Smith was pretty wrong for that, or you think it was right?
I mean, violence is never the answer,
Good answer.
Words do hurt, though. You know what I mean? So it's like,
But it is a comedian, right?
He's a comedian. But what he said obviously offended Jada Pinkett Smith, I guess. So, like, he shouldn't have said it. But like to me, I feel like Will Smith could have confronted him in a different way.
Backstage, maybe.
Yeah, backstage.
Like, hey, bro, that hurt my feelings.
Exactly. Or even if he felt like he needed to do something publicly, like he could have just said, "Hey, that's my wife. We're not gonna make jokes about her."
Yeah, not cool.
Yeah, exactly. But the fact that he just literally went up and slapped another man in the face.
Pimp slapped him,
yes.
Man.
So.
And I think, well, obviously he knew, or mostly knew, that like Chris Rock couldn't have done anything back.
Yeah.
Because he's on like the focal point of a show. How many millions of people watch that?
I mean, yeah, it's like
what
biggest
was
show of the night for sure. One of the top
he
broadcasts
left
of
the
the
podium
year.
And just started fighting him.
Yeah. We literally could have seen a fist fight between two men on stage at the Oscars.
That would have been
like cool. had Chris Rock retaliated that way, but
like cut the TV, cut the cameras.
Yeah. And so I don't know. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, I just was intrigued by it because as soon as it happens, within hours, there's dozens of conspiracy theories.
Oh, yeah.
It was staged, or
Yeah.
they're buddies, and
Mm-hmm.
they planned it.
Yeah.
But they've since rekindled, right?
No.
No?
From what I understand, like Will Smith said that he's reached out to Chris Rock, to talk about it and apologize to him directly or
And he
whatever.
was like, no.
But yeah, Chris Rock doesn't respond. So. Which I understand that, you embarrass me like that. I feel like I don't know. I feel like Chris Rock probably still has some anger there.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Like, now we got to get on TV and I get to slap you back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, short questions list. Give me some misconceptions about the TV business.
Big misconception about our show is that it's like live, So here in Oklahoma, it comes on at 10:30 at night. On the East Coast in New York, it comes on at 11:30. But a lot of people think that we record the show live right then and there, but we don't.
But it's what, 6 hours earlier?
Yeah, we tape at 5:30. Yeah, every day. And then the show goes into editing and all that kind of stuff.
So it's almost as live as you can get without.
Yep.
When I know it's filmed live, how many outtakes are there with a live audience, or is it pretty seamless?
Honestly, it depends on the day. Sometimes there'll be no mistakes, like
just flawless.
Like sometimes the show literally could be live, like if it had to be,
If you want it, okay.
Yeah. But then there are other days where, and then a lot of times, since we know that it's not live, sometimes we can pause too during the show. So like maybe Stephen will do his monologue, and then like we'll take like a break to like set up something else, and that break may take 10-15 minutes. And then when he is ready to go, we'll just act like he's coming back from a commercial and, go on from there.
Gotcha.
So
you ever have any, well, I guess before we go, is there any other misconceptions outside of that?
I think that's the
Anything
biggest one. The biggest one I can think of right now. Yeah.
It's not like the news where they're out in the field with a camera. Is local news live too, or is it still, it's pre-recorded by what, probably 15-20 minutes? Or is it ever
I
like
think
really live?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know anything about local news now that you mention it.
Because you'll drive by and you'll see the people at the accidents or at events and stuff. And I didn't know if that was live or if it's probably 10, 20, 30 minutes behind.
Yeah, I really don't know. I imagine it's live. I've always thought it was live, but I really don't know.
I hate the awkward pause when they switch.
Oh yeah.
They're like, we're out in the field. We've got Keenan, and there's like a 6-second break, and they're just staring.
that delay,
and they
waiting
roll
for
in.
yeah.
So you moved from Dallas to New York City. You're from Sapulpa.
Yeah, Sapulpa, Oklahoma.
Unlike either. So, give me some of your big culture. You'd never been to the city before.
Yeah, I'd visited.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd visited before.
So you knew a little bit.
Yeah.
So, give me some culture shocks or I don't know, because you probably never rode public transit on a consistent basis before, right?
No, never.
I mean, it's
yeah,
not like you
growing
said,
up in Oklahoma,
you can't do that here.
Yeah,
we got a bus system, but you won't see it for 40 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you hit the streets and you move there. Give us some culture shocks or something that blew you away or something you loved. Maybe you're like, oh, this is nice.
Something that like a culture shock that I love, like something that I didn't expect, is that you can get food whenever you want, no matter the time of day. There's a store or a bodega, as they call them in New York, on literally every corner. And so like every bodega has like a deli, and in the deli, there's every food you can think of, basically. Like you can get like chicken and rice, or you can get a hamburger, or you can get pizza, or you can, like, it's just kind of crazy that there's all this food at this one place all the time.
We did that plenty of times in between meals, like if we wanted something light or if we ate dinner like early and we were still out late at night, because we did quite a bit, or as much as we could. That's a big reason we like going to Vegas, and my brother likes Vegas too. He's like, you can get the best food anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, like within close.
Yeah.
Burgers, Chinese,
Anything you want.
steaks, seafood, sushi.
It's crazy.
Best in the world.
The other weird thing, and this is kind of ridiculous to bring this up, but I just found it interesting.
Please do.
Liquor stores are open on Sundays, which here in Oklahoma, and then previously when I lived in Texas, that's not the case.
Yep.
And they also stay open till like midnight.
And here's 9. Right?
And here's 9. Yeah, here and in Texas, it's 9 p.m.
I do think our laws have loosened a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
when you and I were growing up, like I think now, I don't know about Sundays now. I'm not sure, but there's things have changed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you and I were like in college too, we couldn't even get 6-point beer.
Yeah.
Remember, you had
Yep.
to drink 3-2.
Yep. Unless you got it from a liquor store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true.
But
And
yeah, in the
then-
grocery store, that's all they had was Bud Light, Budweiser.
The good stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, and then I remember, I think we really don't drink a ton. I haven't been to a liquor store in forever, but you couldn't get cold drinks, or you couldn't get a mixer at the liquor store.
Mhm.
It's probably not,
Yeah.
like you could, like if you want Jack and Coke,
Mhm.
you'd have to go to the convenience store to get Coke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's changed now, but
Yeah. I remember a lot of liquor stores would have like a Coke machine like right outside
Yeah.
the store to like get around it or whatever. But
There's-
yeah, I remember that.
There's one in Midtown that used to be my brother's house, and it's a liquor store, and then they put like a little saloon swinging door, and then in the other side was soft drinks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was a separate store,
Yeah, that's
quote
the
unquote.
way to get around it.
So stupid.
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought there. What were you talking about that? I lived in North Dakota. North Dakota, Minnesota. They have, I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I thought it was weird, but they have their bars, it's called an on and off sale. Do you know what that is?
No, never heard of that.
I hadn't either. I saw the sign and I was like, I thought it was an auction at a bar. I was like, what's an on and off sale? So on and off sale is a bar, and then when the bar closes or when you leave, you can buy liquor to go.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So it's like if you went to a bar
Yeah.
and a liquor store, like you can't take a margarita to go or your gin and tonic in a cup, but you can buy a bottle of liquor after you leave.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And it's called an on and off sale.
Yeah.
And it might have been like when the bar closes for like an hour.
Okay.
I don't know. It was weird though.
Well, you know, I don't know what it is in Oklahoma now, but when I was in Texas, and then it's the same way in New York, you can like get a cocktail from a store to go. Like they just put like a seal on it, and so
you can walk New York with a drink,
no, if you get it to go, it has to like stay sealed.
but you can take it back to your house.
Yeah, like they'll give you a cup, and then I say stay sealed. It's just like a normal plastic cup.
Yeah.
And then they'll put a lid over it, and then they'll like tape the lid. So it's not like something that's gonna keep you from getting into it as you walk home if you don't want to, or if you want to or whatever. But
They can't monitor that.
yeah,
either. They've
exactly.
got bigger fish to
Yeah.
fry. So
So that's a thing. Like if you can go to any, go to a Mexican restaurant and say, hey, let me get a margarita to go. They'll give it to you. Like
I feel like you can do that here now too. I could be wrong. I think like when the pandemic happened,
oh,
people wanted their
yeah.
booze, and so people
Yeah.
were like delivering it and taking it to go,
Yeah.
trying to make money where they, couldn't make it anymore. But
Mm.
you go to like Las Vegas or New Orleans, you can drink anywhere. Dude.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the hospital, the
Mhm.
bank.
Yep.
You ever been to New Orleans?
Yeah, I love New Orleans.
I do too.
Yeah.
As a visitor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, same. I
Yeah.
think of New Orleans as like Vegas with culture.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great description. Yeah.
It's kind
Some
of that
soul.
same vibes. Yeah, as far as like the drinking and just partying all the time. But then you actually have like cultural sites to see. There's
Yeah,
history in
some
New
hit- yeah.
Orleans. Yeah.
Not just casinos and
Yeah.
strippers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love New Orleans. That's my favorite style of food is Cajun seafood.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Nice.
And then the people down there are just
hmm
super nice and super wild. So
Yeah. How was the seafood that you had in New York when you visited? Because you got like a po' boy or something. Y'all were going to go eat.
I'm trying to think of, because we ate a lot.
Okay. It was
So-
right after you saw.
Oh
when we
yeah,
went
yeah,
to,
yeah. We went to we just did like a basic fish and chips,
Oh, okay.
which
Oh,
in
so
my
it was
opinion is
just-
hard to mess up, but
yeah.
it was good.
Okay.
We had. So we wanted to go to is it Luger's? Peter Luger's?
Oh yeah, Peter Luger's in Brooklyn.
So
yeah.
we wanted to go, but I dropped the ball like I do a lot. Didn't get a reservation, and it was kind of far away.
Yeah.
So we were going to try it, but we stayed in that pocket of, God, you could tell me where we were at.
Y'all were in Midtown. I
Sure.
know that, but
I don't know.
y'all were near Madison Square Garden, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we stayed in that pocket because we went to the Peloton studio with Lindsay,
Mhm.
spent some time there. We came back and we had the UFC fights at the
Mhm.
Garden that night. So we wanted to stay fairly close.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Keen's,
Keen's, I don't know.
Keen's Steakhouse. So when
Oh yeah, you told me about it. Yeah, yeah.
it looked very similar to Peter Luger's,
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same setup dynamic,
Mhm.
very old. I mean, you turned the block and it was right by our hotel. And I was like, hey, we don't have a reservation, but we'll get there like door open. And there's only 2 of us, so we could sit anywhere.
Yeah.
So we get there at 5 and had a seat. We got right
nice.
in. It was really, anyways.
Do you recall where in the city it was? Like what street?
Oh God, I could pull it up.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just curious. I can look it up later. But.
No, I'm not even great with directions in my own town, city. I've gotten better, but people, all the locals, when we'd ask them, they take the 7th and 36th, and then I was just like, I'm gonna pull up my phone. But
well, I'm really good now. Like Manhattan is really easy to figure out because it's a grid and it's just north south. Train, follow the trains that say Bronx if you want to go north, follow the trains that say Brooklyn if you want to go south. That's pretty much it. So it's easy to figure out, but at the same time, I wouldn't be able to. Oh, near Koreatown.
No, I don't
38th and 6th. Okay. Or 36 and 6. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, because we were close to the Empire State Building. And anyways, I think we were on like 35th or 37th. Mm-hmm. But
nice.
Anyways, we had Keen's Steakhouse. It was really good.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we went to dinner in Little Italy. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of the joint. There was a lot of them.
Yeah, that's kind of all Little Italy is like just a bunch of Italian restaurants next to each other.
Are you fond of them, or you never go there?
I'll go. So they have a festival, and forgive me because I cannot remember the name of it, but it happens every year in, I believe, September, and it's like an Italian food festival.
Is it amazing?
And it's like, it's like all through Little Italy, and they have like booths and a bunch of restaurants, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's so good. I wish I could remember the name of it, but yeah. We
spent a couple hours down there, had dinner. We walked through Chinatown just to see. Mm-hmm. We did this standard touristy. We looked for the knockoff watches and purses. That was always fun.
Yeah.
What else did we had a ton at the corner stores, little snacks with the food trucks, just because it was quick.
How are the food trucks?
They were good. I mean, like
some are better than others. That's for sure. But yeah.
I mean, we don't have high expectations for those. I mean, it's pretty simple food. Like because we flew in, I think by the time we got settled, it was like 1:30 or 2, and we hadn't eaten, but we were going to have a nice dinner, so we didn't want to eat a ton. So we just got like the standard hot dog.
Yeah.
And then the last night we were there, I got like, it was basically just like chicken and rice and some veggies, but it was awesome because I saw that guy, it took him like probably 15 minutes. He cooked it fresh.
This was at a food truck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right on the corner from our hotel. So.
Okay. Nice.
Like, I mean, dude, the walking there is crazy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but.
Yeah. It's so funny because like we walk so much there that like it's not exercise. It's just like commuting. Sure. You know what I mean? So like your body doesn't feel like
fatigued.
I don't feel tired. I don't feel fatigued. I don't feel like I'm putting any stress on my body like while walking because I'm just commuting. So you can walk 2-3 miles in New York City and not even realize it just because, you're just commuting. You're just going to the next place.
You think that is true, that it doing so helps people stay in a lot better shape than everywhere else because it's just kind of natural?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, I think from a physical fitness standpoint, I think people are in much better shape on that side of the country than they are here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, so. That's not hard, right? Yeah, you go out here, man. We got big people out here. Yeah. I mean, that's probably just a nice way to put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
We don't do a ton of walking. I mean, really, if you put it on paper, from a statistic or reality standpoint, I think Oklahoma is like one of the most obese states in the country.
Yeah,
so we're not really.
I believe it.
We're not saying anything too unkind.
Yeah.
So no other culture shocks or misconceptions that kind of blew you away. You sound like you were super ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, after I had visited before and did my whole sightseeing thing and all that kind of thing. Like, and I knew what New York was after that. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I didn't expect to be shocked by anything. The first day I got there, it was a little bit of a shock because it's just tall buildings, especially in Midtown. Because the first time I ever went, I got off the train at Grand Central Station in Midtown on 42nd Street. And so as soon as I walked out, it was just like tall buildings around me. So it was a little overwhelming at first for like that first day.
Like I can't see behind.
Yeah. After that, it's just I'm just there. I'm a New Yorker. So
How did you find a place to live before getting there? Because you have several roommates.
yeah, that was a difficult part. So the first 2 months I was there, I stayed in an Airbnb.
Oh yeah,
In Mount Vernon, New York. It's just north of the Bronx. And so that was like, it was really convenient because when you get to that part of the state, like people drive, like it's just like Oklahoma, like people have cars and, so it's not the best for walking and public transportation and stuff. Thankfully, the Airbnb that I was staying in was just a 7-minute walk to the train, like to the commuter train that would take you into the city. So it worked out for me there. So I did that for 2 months. And then obviously during those 2 months, I was just looking for a place to live. And, naive me, I was like, yeah, I'm going to live on the Upper West Side. I'm going to live near Central Park so I can go running every day. And I'm going to do, not realizing how expensive these places were. Like I knew it was expensive, but I didn't realize how expensive. And so I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm living in Manhattan.
Can we talk numbers or no?
No, that's okay.
like what was the process? What you were you were like, oh wow, no way. Like some of the first places you thought you were gonna live, and then you were like, I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean $2,500
for one bed
for a studio, $2,500 for a studio on
bedroom.
On the Upper East Side. And so I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work.
So how did you end up finding your roommates now? Because you've been in the Airbnb for a while. How did you find them?
So it's kind of funny, since there are so many, I guess transplants is the term I could use, like living in New York City, people who didn't grow up there and stuff.
You outsiders.
There are a lot. What was that?
I said all you outsiders.
Yeah, exactly. All us gentrifiers. No, there are a lot of co-living companies is what they call themselves. So it's these companies where they'll have, they'll own apartments, that can be, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, whatever it is. And then they rent rooms to you. And so that's what I'm in. So the place I'm at now, it's in Brooklyn. It's 3-story. It's a 3-story walk up. The first floor of our apartment is 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And then there's a second floor of our apartment and it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And we also have like a rooftop patio and all that kind of stuff. So it really worked out. So to answer your question, how did I find my roommates? I really didn't. Like I used this company and the company found it for me. Like they kind of helped me figure out which unit would be best for me if that was the route that I was going to take. And so
the way I've perceived a lot of this stuff is like anytime you want to do something, you have to go through a guy.
Yeah.
You're like,
honestly,
I want to write. Oh, I got to hire this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I got to find somebody to help me out here.
That's the industry I'm in and the city that I live in. Like, yeah, you just kind of have to.
Did you like the Tommy DeVito stuff? Have you kept up with that?
Not too much. I mean, I know he's the quarterback for the Giants, but
you haven't seen all the stuff online with his agent?
Oh, yeah. I have seen that. Yeah.
The Italian descent.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It just kind of took off because he filled in for Danny Jones.
Yeah.
And I guess he's from around the area, but like super Italian.
So. I know he went to Syracuse, so I'm assuming he's from New York.
But did you see his agent?
Yeah.
On TV?
Yeah.
Just looking like a mobster.
Yeah, on the sideline. Yeah.
That's funny, dude. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially since he probably doesn't get a lot of FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
And now he got benched. He kind of ran with that opportunity.
Oh yeah, Tyrod Taylor was playing the other day. Yeah,
he got Tyrod. I think it was against the Eagles. Mm-hmm. They pulled DeVito and put Tyrod in. Yeah, because he was struggling.
That's kind of one other. I wouldn't call it a shock, but that's one thing I noticed about New York is that, like, how do I say this? So here in Oklahoma,
just say it.
A lot of white people are just white people. Like you don't really hear too many people saying, oh, my Italian heritage or my, they don't really talk about their background. But in New York, everybody is so proud of their lineage and where they come from. Italians are very proud to be Italian. Irish people are very proud to be Irish. Like, it's like a thing up there. But here in New York, here in Oklahoma, I obviously grew up with a lot of white people, but I've never really heard any white people say,
So I'll throw devil's advocate there for fun. I feel like people here do say it, but it like doesn't really like go far because they don't really. Because I I make fun of people that like, oh yeah, I'm a quarter German. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
well, I mean, like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what, you don't cook German food. You don't know any German people. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like they are of that descent, but they cook it, they eat it. Their grandmother like lives there half the time, or their grandparents came from there. When people say it here, it's it's like the 23andMe results.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's probably true, but
Yeah.
like, what are your ties to it?
Yeah, exactly.
People here.
See, yeah, on the East Coast, like they have like real ties.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty.
So when
It's interesting. I like it.
When people say it here, you're like, well, yeah. I mean, I'm probably 5% Portuguese too, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. Basic white people in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No
it's
flavor, no
it's just
seasoning.
Caucasian,
Yeah. Anybody's. Oh yeah. I like Jameson because I'm a quarter Irish.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay. Just because you drink Jameson and
Yeah, you like
have Irish
Jameson
blood.
because you like whiskey. Like that's
Yeah, I mean
like,
most Americans are kind of a hodgepodge of cultures because
Yeah.
we're the melting
the
pot.
melting pot, exactly.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
But as far as favorite restaurants and pockets you hit up there, what do you do for food? Do you cook? You probably cook a lot, right?
I do cook a lot, yeah.
Because I imagine food. I mean, we ate out some nice places. It was kind of expensive, but I feel like everything's expensive now. So
Yeah, I mean, with my job obviously keeps me pretty busy.
they feed you guys a
but
lot.
They do, yeah.
Good
It's like a union thing. So crew has to eat and stuff, and so twice a week they actually feed us lunch, and then every day there's breakfast. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So you could escape out with dinner only.
A lot of days that's what happens. So
But you're doing the reverse opposite of what we do as far as like Midwest South. You're going to get food probably a couple times a week fresh, where we buy we're like Lindsay's at Sam's Club right now buying boxes of stuff. Where you hit the market probably a couple times a week, right?
yeah,
And that's you have to do that.
yeah, yes and no. I mean, you can buy in bulk. Like there's Costco up there, and so
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
In Brooklyn, or I don't know. Yeah, it's in Brooklyn. I've never been to it, but Brooklyn is very big. If you don't know,
I
like
did
it's
not know.
humongous. Like it's like the population of Brooklyn. I read that it would be the third largest city in America if it were its own city, but it's
just
not.
a
It's
borough,
part of
right?
New York City. Yeah, it's a borough of New York.
And that's just population wise.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, so there is that in Brooklyn. And so a lot of people will order from Costco, like delivery. People will order from Amazon too, like groceries and stuff.
Yeah, which is wild to me.
There are several like small grocery stores in my neighborhood that I've been to that I'll go to every week or, for certain things. But over the past couple of months, I have actually become a big fan of like HelloFresh,
Yeah.
because it's
We've
just
done
so
that before.
easy. Yeah. Like they send me the box, I cook the food, I have the food. Like,
Get home and chill.
Exactly.
Cook easy dinner.
Yeah. So, but what you were saying about maybe going to the market 2-3 times a week, I did used to do that, but not so much anymore.
Do you get a lot of these questions from all your friends and family when you come back?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you live in a foreign country?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because you haven't had much family visit, right? Or you
No, I've had a few friends visit, but no family has really come up. But
have you brought anyone out? Like you brought someone and they're like, man, I kind of want to move here now. Like,
yeah,
I want to.
I have a really good friend. His name's Luke. He lives in Dallas. We met in Dallas. He came up to visit me earlier this year, and like we hung out in the village, the Greenwich Village, like a lot because he just really liked the area. And every day he was like, yeah, I'm going to move here. I'm going to live in the village. Like, I'm like, bro, you're from Dallas. Like, you're not like literally the first day he was there, he was wearing cowboy boots.
Was it really?
Yes. And we were like walking great distances. And I'm like, don't wear these cowboy boots tomorrow.
You're going to cook your feet?
Yeah, exactly. But he's like, I'm going to move here. Like, okay, it's nice, but I don't know if you'd really like it.
Yeah.
But,
Like if you long term,
yeah,
you kind of get the dream side of it.
exactly. Yeah. It is like a movie though, honestly.
What do you mean?
Like living there, like if especially someone like me who just loves movies, like so many movies are set in New York City. And so there are so many different landmarks and places where stuff has been filmed, that you can just walk through the city and it just feels like you're on TV or something. Like it's just a vibe.
I think we talked about it when I was there, but you don't have a desire to be an extra, or you do?
Oh yeah. You know what? We didn't keep watching that video that I showed you, but I was actually in that as an extra.
Yeah, go to it.
Yeah.
I for sure want to watch it. I didn't know if we want to watch all of it while we're here, but
90-second fiance.
Let me see. Oh, hold on. Here, I'll show you.
With 90-second fiance, a Northrop trucker, the just okay British baking show. And if you like Top Chef, you'll love Top Chef. Chef B, Chef R, Chef
is that you, Jeff? R?
That's me.
You kind of look so different there.
Did I?
Yeah, because you're just like,
Oh yeah. Well, I had to look nervous.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was gonna get eliminated.
that's funny.
Yeah.
I was gonna get eliminated.
Yeah. But
Man,
yeah,
I want to be
been
an extra so bad.
Yeah, I've been a background in. Oh, I'm in this one too. Like you can see me. You can see the back of my head right there. On
right here?
Yeah,
Okay.
right here on the left. Yeah.
That's
so like
funny.
I'm since I work on this team, I actually do get to do background work quite often. Yeah.
Do you just kind of raise your hand? You're like, I want to be in it, or they're like, do we need a volunteer?
Yeah, it's happened both ways. It's like, hey, we need a volunteer, or it's like, Keenan, you're going to be a background.
What do
for
you
this.
think about the? I guess, to my understanding, the how am I trying to say it? Like the blossom or the blooming of film in Oklahoma, right?
Oh,
film in
yeah.
Oklahoma's kind of on the rise.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. I mean, Tulsa King and Killers of the Flower Moon. And yeah, like I'm happy about it because when I was here, there wasn't anything like that going on, you know, because I always wanted to work in film. Always. Like since.
So now that you left, all
Definitely,
it's all
I
coming
know.
there.
Yeah, no, definitely since college for sure. I've always, or really even since high school, like I've wanted to work in film, but it's Oklahoma. Where's the opportunity? And I didn't get the opportunity to do it until I moved to Dallas.
And even then, you were getting unpaid.
Yeah, and even then, it was just small things.
Odds
but,
and ends.
Yeah, but it's nice to know that if you know someone who's interested in this industry from Oklahoma wants to stay in Oklahoma, it's nice to know that there are opportunities now. So,
Do you think it's sustainable though, long term? Because just because we have a couple films doesn't mean there's a film.
Exactly. I think it's obviously going to be on a project to project basis. There's not going to be a TV show that's going to be here for 10 seasons or something like that. You know what I mean?
Did you
so-
watch gosh, what's it called? Reservation Dogs.
No, I haven't yet. It's been in my Hulu list forever because there's like, it's 2 seasons now.
I think there's 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to catch up, but no, I haven't gotten to watch it yet.
I watched it.
Okay. Did they film it here? I know it's set here. They filmed it here too?
Yeah, everywhere here.
Okay.
Salty. Like I said, it's on my bucket list to be an extra, and I've not gotten that done yet. But they do those. They would do you can apply online or send like a little email. But then they would do casting calls for extras, and the line was nuts.
Oh, yeah.
But they did a lot in Tulsa, and then a lot of it was out in Okmulgee and Beggs.
Okay.
Kind of. It's based on like a rural native reservation. So they had it out in Okmulgee, Beggs area.
Okay.
And then
I was over there yesterday. That's wild in that area.
Yeah.
That's where my grandmother lives, is in Beggs.
And then they had gosh, what is it? What am I trying to say? A lot in Midtown.
Yeah.
I actually drove by them filming once. I always thought that was cool when you see a film set. It was because they had like multiple cops blocking it off, but you could see they were like filming right outside the car, like they were sitting in a car. But just seeing the little track that they ride on, and then hundreds of people outside of the camera. That stuff.
I mean, I get to do it every day, and it still seems so cool. Like,
yeah, I've said, told Lindsay, my YouTube rabbit hole. Your YouTube, it just suggests stuff for you as you picked up.
Yeah.
One night it was behind the scenes of like major films.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that's like one of my favorite things to watch now.
Oh, it's the best.
I like watch movies differently. I've watched there's a 30-minute one with Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump. I've watched that 10, 12 times because it just blows my mind, these little scenes, and there's 24 people behind this big light, this camera, or little scenes that I thought were like very easy, and there's huge I don't know what you would call it, like what's the white sheet where they block light.
Oh yeah, I don't know, like
but,
a tarp or something, or
anyways, just so intricate.
No, and you were asking me earlier, like why like directing is something I don't want to do again. Like it's because of that. It's just too technical, and it takes a team of people. You got your electricians, you got your audio guys, like you got so many people there, where it has to work. Like the team has to work well together. And as the director, it's your job to make sure that happens. And so like it's just a lot.
Yeah.
But it's cool whenever there's a director that knows what they're doing and they do it the right way. Like it's amazing. And so like all the behind the scenes stuff you saw for Forrest Gump, Robert Zemeckis directed that movie. He's one of the best to ever do it, I think. But as someone who just watches the movie without seeing the behind the scenes, you have no idea all those little intricate pieces of everything is going on. So,
yeah, I felt like a 5-year-old watching that, like pulling the curtain. I'm like, how did I not know that this would be so intricate and so detailed?
Yeah.
And then another one that I really liked, because I'm a big Home Alone fan.
Same.
Love Home Alone. First of all, they said it almost never happened because they were a shortfall on money, and I guess the people didn't really think the storyline was great. But you know, the famous house in Chicago. I mean, maybe I'm dumb to think this, maybe I'm not, but they didn't even film it in the house.
Oh yeah, that's normal.
Is it?
Yeah.
But why? I guess like
You film a lot of it. You film on sound stages and stuff.
I know, but so they filmed it in Chicago where that house is. But why would you not just take pictures of the house and videos of the house and then do it in LA? Like they just used, like, why that? They could have picked that. If they're not going to film in that house, then why was that one so prominent? You could find a house like that anywhere.
Well, I mean,
right?
I guess you could, yeah. But
Like,
I mean,
couldn't
like
you pretend
whoever.
in LA that it was based in Chicago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could, I guess. But I mean, like, I don't know. Houses in Chicago look different than houses in LA.
But that house was not like. It wasn't. It's iconic because it's in the movie.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, you're talking to someone who doesn't work in the industry. It just kind of blew my mind that it wasn't actually. You know, they built that house in a high school next to it. That kind of blows my mind.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You're probably like this dummy. Like,
well,
you have no idea.
There's location scouts, you know, in films.
Oh my God.
And they do a really good job. You know what I mean? And so whoever scouted that particular house obviously did it for a reason, and it ended up being iconic.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, sure, they probably could have found a different house in LA and
But they were like, this
dressed
is
it
the
up
one.
and whatever. But yeah, they found one that they strongly believed in, I guess.
Yeah, apparently that movie almost never happened. And then I think at the time some of those actors were not super popular, and I think they're worried they didn't have a key star outside of Macaulay Culkin.
Well, that John Candy ended up being in it.
Yeah,
briefly, but yeah.
Yeah, very short, right?
Yeah,
like 10 minutes, or probably
whatever. Yeah,
cumulative 10 minutes.
probably. Yeah, in total, if that, really.
I thought it was neat. So growing up, did you ever? I don't know if it may not have been here when you were here at the Outsiders Museum.
No, the museum wasn't here
because
when I was here.
It's still relatively new.
Yeah, like the house was
yeah,
but not the museum.
I had Danny on the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
He's cool.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah,
I don't know.
He seems dope.
Yeah, he is.
Danny Boy O'Connor.
Yeah,
yeah.
I had him. I not a big Outsiders guy, or you know, I like House of Pain, but not like a super fan. But I remember reading articles about him, and I was like, man, this guy seems cool.
Yeah,
he built this house up, and I don't know if you know much about his life, but he loves Tulsa.
Yeah. Well, I saw him on Kid 90, the documentary. Did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah.
After I had him on.
Okay, yeah. I saw him on that. Yeah.
Well,
talking about Tulsa.
He loves Tulsa, man.
Yeah.
You know, he grew up in Boston, New York area, back and forth, I think. And then he was out in LA for a while, of course. But he settled down in Tulsa, and he lives at the Mayo. He's pretty open about that, but he loves it here.
Yeah. I mean, I love it here, honestly. As somebody who grew up here, and I was here, you know, the first 26 years of my life.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
80% of your life.
Yeah. Like, I love it here, too, but...
Well, yeah, I would say you may have time now, or when you come back, the museum is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
As a film buff guy.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, that movie had a bunch of stars too.
For sure, yeah,
like,
right.
Crazy.
Tom Cruise
when
he was like 17 or something.
Yeah, Emilio Estevez and Rob Lowe and all those guys. Like, it's crazy. And Francis Ford Coppola directed it. Like,
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
And my point to that, what I was talking about, is that museum is cool. But what I thought was neat, and I asked Danny that if he knew, but they could have filmed that anywhere, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But they filmed it in Tulsa.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah,
I had asked if he knew much about that and why they did that, but I think it made it what it is. But I was just kind of shocked because that was is that the 70s or the 80s?
It was the 80s. Yeah.
I mean,
early
imagine
'83, I think. Something
imagine
like
them in the '80s being like, "We're gonna go film this in Tulsa." Be
that.
like,
Yeah.
why?
What's Tulsa?
That was back when LA was like a lot different than what it is. So
Yeah. Well, and that's back in the day when they pretty much only filmed movies in LA.
yeah, that's what I meant.
Like, yeah.
there's no reason to go
Yeah,
anywhere else.
you might have a few in New York, but back then it was like all LA.
And now you have people, it seems like, branching out. Like, I clearly don't know a ton about the film industry, but like Ozarks was filmed in Georgia, I think.
Was it? Okay. A lot of stuff is filmed in Georgia now.
I
Georgia's like
did read
a big time place.
Because I think there was a big misconception for Ozark that was filmed in Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks, but they're like, no, it's at a lake in Georgia.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Georgia's a big one. Louisiana's a big one right now.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is it affordability?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yep.
Just cheap.
Mm-hmm.
That's why everyone lives in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like you come back, like, well, I can buy this house for a third of the cost of anywhere else.
Yeah.
Your dollar stretches far.
Yeah.
So would you ever move back to Tulsa if a film opportunity was present?
I don't know. That I love Tulsa, but
you keep saying that, but
I know,
I
right?
love you guys.
I love Tulsa, but New York is its own thing, man. It's just like it's like its own vibe, and I really love the vibe of New York City. I think if I did ever come back to Tulsa permanently, it would be like in retirement, and that's not to say that I'm gonna be like an old man. I could retire when I'm 50. Who knows? Where my life is headed in that that sort of way. But maybe then I'll come back. But
well, last topic for me. If you have anything to cover, you can absolutely do so, and we can wrap up. But tell us your long-term goals. What is your you got any New Year's resolutions? Those are hot right now. Everybody, happy New Year's Eve. But any resolutions, personal or work, and then your long-term plan. It seems like you've got a lot in the pipeline and a lot of big ideas, and you obviously shot for the stars and got your job here. So what are your visions look like? What do your goals look like?
Yeah. So in 24, as we've been talking about, my job at the Late Show right now is I'm a production assistant. And so it's kind of, I don't want to call it the low man on the totem pole or whatever, but it's not a very high position.
Intern supervisor.
Yeah, exactly. But it's an opportunity. And so I want to continue to grow from there. Even though my title is production assistant, right before we went on our hiatus for the holiday break, I was actually credited as an associate producer on a project.
Nice.
And so that's the first actual producer credit that I've gotten since I've been at the show.
So now you can put that on your LinkedIn or your resume.
Put that on my resume, keep it going. But so I just hope for more opportunities like that. I think as time goes on, I continue to work my butt off and just kind of prove what I can do. I'm hopeful and confident that those opportunities will come. And then, I love working at the show. I've only been there for, a short time, year and a half or whatever it is, but like, that's the best job I've ever had, ever. And I've had some jobs I really enjoyed, but nothing like this.
Sure. So
I'm really hoping that I can, just continue to do well and keep working my way up. The next season doesn't start until September. So we're currently in season 9 of the show. So season 10 will start in September. So, hopefully season 10, there'll be even more opportunity. But 2024, I think could be a big year for me personally, professionally when it comes to the Late Show. So, yeah.
Anything personal?
You
want to share?
We talked about it earlier. I'm a real positive guy. I like to meet people, hang out with people. So just more of that, I've in the short time I've been in New York, I've already made a lot of friends, and I want to continue to do that. Just continue to build my network and go from there. Yeah.
Well, you didn't actually say it in sentence form, but I feel like, you're probably an advocate for if somebody has a dream or a job that they think that that might be out of reach, you might more than anybody be the guy to be like, nah, dude, apply for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or get your feet wet for free and then shoot, for the stars. I mean, you got your quote unquote dream job or dream career
dream industry,
started. Yeah. Out of, 1,500 applicants,
right?
You on paper, you're probably like, there's no way I should be the guy, but you got to put yourself out there, right?
Absolutely. No. The crazy thing about me is like, I don't think I talked about this, but in college, like I studied health and then went on to get my master's in business administration, with an emphasis in healthcare administration. And so like that's what I was doing right before I got hired at the Late Show. So I had, worked for a decade basically to put myself in a really good position in the industry that I was in, the industry that I actually went to school for. So I was doing really well, but at the same time, it wasn't the dream job. So even though I was happy with what I was doing, I knew that I could be happier.
Sure.
And so I just kept, working those little PA jobs and, looking to get my foot into the film and television industry full time. And that opportunity came. So I'm 33. One of the other production assistants at the show, she's my age as well. Other than that, all the production assistants are like 23, 24. They're like younger people. They just graduated college within the last year or so, whatever. I said that to say age is just a number. Like, I don't mind working with them. They're a great bunch of people. They don't mind working with me. And we're all just kind of striving for that same goal. So just keep pushing.
I don't think you look 33.
Black don't crack.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think it's absolutely motivation for people who maybe get a late starter. Or we talked a lot about it off air, but it seems so taboo career wise to be like, oh, I'm 33 and you're like, more of an entry level role.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a COO or
Right.
you're not a manager. You
Right.
don't have a team under you. It's kind of, it seems people are more prone to taking those now and
Mm-hmm.
feel a little more comfortable, but some people are still like, I don't want to start over,
Yeah.
or I don't want to get back on low man on the totem pole, or
Mm-hmm.
I've got all these nice things I've got to pay for.
Yeah.
You seem obviously more of a simplistic guy. You're
Yeah.
like, I don't have a lot weighing me down.
Mhm. And I like nice things, but at the same time, like I know I don't need certain
Sure.
things at the moment, So sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. I was just gonna say I have a friend. She works in finance. She's got her bachelor's in accounting, got her master's in accounting. Like that's what she does, but she hates it.
Yeah.
Her dream job is to be like work in like cybersecurity.
She should.
Yeah, but
So
her whole argument to that is, well, I'm already making 6 figures now, and so if I do that, I'm not going to be making as much money because I'll have to take an entry level job. And I'm like, then that's not really your passion then. Like if you're just worried about the money, at your age, it's not really,
Well, when you have a high level, high paying job, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
CPAs make a lot of money. It's probably going to be tough.
Yeah.
But if she's chasing IT for the money,
Mm-hmm.
then that's different. But if she's like, I really like this, it's just part of it, man.
Yeah.
Like you can, I don't know. I mean, you could do side hustles or work,
Yeah.
maybe try to do both, but it's,
yeah. And and everybody's situation is different. But I'll say this: I took a pay cut
Yeah,
to
for sure.
to move to the Late
and
Show.
your expenses probably,
to move to a more expensive city, and all, but at the same time, it's worth it.
Well, we talked, like I said, we talked about it off air, but I mean, you and I both have had many different career changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were like mass comm, and then you're like, nah, not really panning out. Did healthcare. You dipped your foot in insurance a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, your path, my path, your path, most of everybody's is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
You probably boom down up money,
Yeah.
location,
Absolutely.
happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're like super happy, well on your way.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like your bills are paid and your belly's full.
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? So,
Yeah.
my final question before I forget, just random, would you ever try stand up?
No, I
Never?
wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's funny. I have so many
Because
friends.
I know you're into comedy.
Yeah, I have so many friends in New York that do stand up, and they're all pretty good. And they've asked me, and I'm like, no. I think I would be interested in doing improv, just like trying it out.
Mm-hmm.
But not pure stand up. No.
Are your guys, are they trying to make it a career or
Yep.
is it, okay.
Yeah.
So and I won't dwell too much longer. Are they, I assume, working full time and then doing that at
Yep.
nights?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's about to break, or it's pretty tough, right?
Yeah, not about to break, but I shout out to Kevin. Kevin, you know who you are. You are.
Can we go find
Yeah.
who is
Oh
it?
yeah,
Kevin
yeah.
who?
You can find his Instagram. Yeah.
Is he on, I'm sure he's on YouTube.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. Let me find Kevin's Instagram. But
Yes.
Kevin and I worked together at the show. He was an intern actually.
Plug Kevin for us.
But he was also in the Air Force. He
Nice.
Yeah, he was a captain by the time he got out.
Oh, nice.
But after he was an intern, after he finished the Air Force, he applied as an intern. So he was a 30-year-old intern at the show. So he and I, being like the old guys
The old dogs.
in the entry level positions, kind of hit it off. We're really good friends. But like, yeah, stand up is his thing. And he's really good at it. Kevin Turner is his name. You can find him on Instagram, Kevin Turner, haha.
Kevin Turner.
Yeah.
Look it up.
He's a really, really funny comedian.
We went to the comedy club there. I don't know if he goes there or not. New York Comedy Club.
Oh yeah, no.
We tried to go to the
I don't
Cellar,
know if
but
he's
it was
ever
booked.
performed there. He's performed all around the city. I don't know if he's ever performed there though.
I pulled it up now.
Yeah.
So he's trying to do it.
Yeah.
It's
He's
tough?
Yeah, he's good. It's super tough.
Because I imagine at this level, or most of those, they're probably not they even make money?
They make money, but not.
they?
Yeah, but
It's
I
like
mean,
probably break even.
Yeah, probably. I really don't know. I know it's not much, but.
Do you are you a Matt Rife guy?
Honestly, I didn't even know who the guy was until he apparently started saying controversial things.
Well, you know,
so I can't really say I'm a.
Sure.
I don't know.
He just said that, I mean, he's blown up even before that, but he said, 8 months ago, he was like, I almost quit. Nobody was at my shows. I almost joined the military. And I mean, he's huge, man. And he's been doing it for a long time, man. I saw old clips of him from 8-10 years ago when he was like very young man. So
that's how it happens, with a lot of people. Yeah, I don't know.
But not for you.
I'll never be a stand-up. No.
Well,
never that.
Keenan, I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's been good to see you.
Yeah, thanks
like
for having me.
It's since college, you don't talk to people a lot, but seen you twice in the past 60 days.
Yeah.
And then not 7 years before, but
yeah.
Thanks for plugging us and meeting up with us in New York and coming through here and Happy New Year's, man. And if you want to plug yourself at all on your Instagram or anything, otherwise we'll cut you loose.
Yeah. What is my Instagram? I don't even remember. But yeah,
you post your content on there, right? For
I'll
the
put
show a
stuff
little
on there.
bit.
Yeah, I'll put some of the stuff that I've worked on the show on there. My Instagram is Keenan1. So Keenan and then the number 1.
Awesome.
My Instagram, yeah.
What?
Yeah, please follow me. Please watch The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. We're the number 1 rated show in late night. We're nominated for the Emmy. The Emmys are I say next month, but really in like 2 weeks. And so,
Next year.
Yeah, hopefully we'll take home the crown. But,
well, cool, man. Happy for you, and I appreciate you coming on and talking with me.
yeah. Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Before we go?
Go ahead.
I don't know if you remember this, but the first day that I met you, it was in
man.
psych. It was in psychology, intro to
remember
psych
psychology.
or whatever it was.
Fun class.
Yeah. And you told me I looked like Soulja Boy.
Did I really?
Yes. You're like, you look like Soulja Boy. And I was like, thanks.
That's awesome. Do you think that you do?
No. I didn't think I did then either. But,
That's
but I was
funny.
like, all right, Justin.
I don't remember that, but I don't doubt that.
Yeah, you look like Soulja Boy. Okay.
Yeah, because you sat in front of me, right?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. That's funny.
Anyway. I do have a weird thing where I associate people with like, it's kind of like a weird talent. I feel like I see people that I know and I like attach them to a celebrity of who I think they look like.
Okay. Who you got for me?
Well, I'm for you. Oh gosh, you put me in the spot here.
Oh, okay. Never mind. It's not. It better not
okay.
be Soulja Boy.
No, apparently that's not good. Soulja Boy was cool. Come on.
I guess at the time, what was
okay.
it, 2009 or something?
Without giving me time, I'll do a quick one and say Mike Tomlin.
Okay. That makes sense. You being like a football guy, a football fan.
That's a quick one on the spot.
Okay.
And you can disagree or agree.
I've never gotten it before, but
If you give me more time, I could give you one.
Okay. All right.
But to be fair, I think in college you didn't have a beard, right? You were clean shaven.
Yeah, I was clean shaven in college most of the time.
So give me a little bit of Soulja Boy there. A little bit.
Yeah, and I was like super skinny, like way underweight.
Soulja Boy is very
as a 19-year-old or whatever. So yeah, I could. Okay.
And I feel like you had a super clean haircut.
Yeah, always had a super clean haircut. Yeah.
And now I feel like you got the beard a little bit, a little more 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, that's true. A little gray in the beard. It's crazy.
I'm gonna pull up Mike Tomlin real quick. That's a quick one.
I'm gonna show you who I've gotten, and then I'll say it after I show you.
But Mike Tomlin's beard is a lot longer than yours, so. if he had a shorter beard. but that one's one on the spot, man.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've never got. So here's the thing. I've never gotten it before, but I've gotten Omar Epps. You know Omar Epps, the actor.
That sounds familiar. Let me pull a picture.
Well, he gets.
What is he? What film?
I mean, a bunch of stuff.
Like, give me one.
Juiced, Higher Learning, or not. Why did I put a D on it? Juice, not Juiced.
Okay.
A bunch of stuff. I don't know. But
I'm comparing here.
Well, the reason why I brought him up is because I've gotten him before, but a lot of people say he and Mike Tomlin look alike. Like, they've made jokes about it. Like, it's like
really?
thing online. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you said Mike Tomlin, it was kind of like, okay, I guess, because yeah.
I need some credit there then.
Maybe a little bit.
I know this guy, but I couldn't tell you what films right off the bat. He's from New York.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I guess so.
What else you got?
I'm going to show you. Hang on. Sorry. It's taking me a minute to pull it up. This guy, Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's an actor. He was in 12 Years a Slave and in a lot of other stuff. I get him so much.
I would have never known his name, but I've seen a movie he's in.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Was he in a movie where... God, I'm so bad at the film stuff. I know this. Him and a woman get stranded together on... Like, in, oh my God.
That sounds like any movie. Like
they get stranded together by happenstance. They take like a private flight through like Alaska or something.
No.
Is that him?
That's Idris Elba. That's the movie with him and Kate Winslet.
Do they look alike?
No.
That's who I thought that was. They're both actors, so I thought that's who that was.
They're both actors. They're both black. They're both British. But
they
don't look alike at all.
But see, that guy... That's who I would have thought that was.
No, I used to, for a brief time, I worked as a waiter, as a server at a place in Dallas. And every weekend, because I did like the brunch service, every weekend someone would come in and tell me I looked like Chiwetel Ejiofor.
You should have.
Every weekend. Like, never failed.
You should be like, yeah, business is a little slow. That's funny.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's who I get. I don't necessarily think I look like any of the people that I get, but that's who I get the most. So
yeah, like I said, Mike was a quick one, but
yeah, I don't have one for you. I'm looking at you.
I'm just basic white dude in jeans. So no, dude, that is a funny story. I did not remember that, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Have a good one, man.
Happy New Year, bro.
You too.